That's not? Okay, I misread the email then. So-
Yeah.
But if you guys want to go ahead and make your presentation, because we did ask you to come here and give us that information.
Sure, thank you. Scott McDonald, Auburn Grid, and the last Wind Advisory Board meeting, Mr. Nolan had provided some information.
Mr. Niles.
I'm sorry. Mr. Niles had provided some information with regard to blade ice throw. And we wanted to make comments on that, and also comments about sharing data with the town. So just,
Excuse me, could you
Angle yourself.
please, all of the
Speak to the camera.
She's just a board, but I'm sure I'll do whatever you want.
Really?
So, again, we were asked to comment on blade ice throw and data availability, and also as far as subsidies go. As this is a wind advisory, this is about the local law. The subsidies can be handled at a different time. It's not something that's part of the local law, but we'd be willing to address that at a later date. And we could address it on March 6th, if that works. See if that works. The comments that we wanted to make about ice throw, really, the context is really about ensuring that there's reasonable setback standards that are applied here. And what we wanted to do is provide information that's informative and will help with the decisions that the board will make regarding protective measures for the risk that are appropriate. You know, we understand, it's obvious that blade ice throw, blade shedding exists. It's the idea of what is the risk and how do we find it and how we operate. There's many ways that a wind plant can go about their operation to reduce the risk of ice throw. Just some examples. I did share a report from, an excerpt report that was performed by, for the Massachusetts Department of Public Health that concluded that the probability of ice throw past the tip height of the turbine, the highest point on the turbine, going a distance greater than that tip height, probability is low. And studies show that about 90% of the ice fragments actually drop within that tip height.
What's the tip height?
I'm not answering your question.
3 minutes. 3 minutes?
What is my
Yeah, 3
time?
minutes is good.
I want to be fair to everybody else.
No, we were asked to come here,
You were asked.
we asked you to come here and present this because it's asked for the clerk.
And I will remember that on March 6th.
He's not here to ask questions, he's here to give you information.
Could we restrict our March 6th meeting
Excuse me.
then, so that he doesn't come to that, and so that they don't come to that?
To ask him.
He's one of the answers.
We're running
I just
out of
didn't know how high they were at.
I don't believe
I didn't know what he was distracting for height.
it. Would you answer a question? That's in
Sure,
Massachusetts,
sure.
which is
So the
very-
tip height, we cannot exceed, we have no plans to exceed 500 feet tip height. So that would be the maximum tip height.
In writing?
It's in
It's,
the law.
It's
Yeah.
in the law.
Right.
It's in writing then.
That's correct. It's part of the.
Currently, currently.
But that could change, right? Those plans could change.
We have no plans to change the tip height of the turbine.
Okay, see if.
Can I just, let me just finish. And I'm happy, whatever the town board here decides, I will try and answer your question.
Advisory board.
I'm sorry.
Because I explained that, we don't have that authority. No, we are not a town board.
So let me just go on. So again, 90% of the ice fragments are going to fall within 500 feet. Within 100, yeah, within the radius of the blade tip height, okay?
In Massachusetts.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And if you look at the probability, once you start going away from that distance, the probability that an ice particle is going to be thrown and actually land on any particular area, the probability drops significantly. Okay? So an example would be, you can find examples, there's a lot of literature out there by independent experts, that once you move into the 1,000+ foot range, the probability gets down to a level of 1 year
Excuse me?
of
One person speaking at a time, please.
1 year out of a million years. Actually, you get that high as you move out. That's the probability of something landing in a particular spot. Now let's just talk about the operational experience with Aventry. We have, in cold weather environments, say from Illinois all the way up through the Northeast, we have 725 turbines in operation. There's been not one incident, reported incident, of any impact, any safety incident regarding ice throw. Let's go
I heard
even,
about one in Eden, Vermont.
let's go to Maple Ridge, which we're all very familiar with. 80% of the turbines at Maple Ridge, and there's 195 of them, are located within 2,500 feet of a seasonal or permanent residence. 50% of those turbines are located within 1,500 feet. Another 30% of those turbines are located within 1,000 feet of the approximately 50-mile network of roads within the project. Again, there's no incident of any mishap because of ice throw from the turbine.
Are
When you,
people allowed to report incidents?
of course,
Do you have one next to your house?
Clifton Park doesn't have ceremonies.
So in today's control systems, turbines are monitored daily, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. We're looking at, we're monitoring the production, we're monitoring the operation. The entire fleet of Avangrid's turbines across the whole country are monitored locally, and of course, we have an operations center in Portland, Oregon. So these turbines are being watched all the time. When ice gets on a blade, it changes the RPMs of the blade, slows it down. It also can change the aerodynamic characteristics of the blade. And it also can change the efficiency of the blade. And all these signals are being sensed by a control system, which typically will cause the turbine to shut down. Now, when turbines are restarted, that's typically when ice throw occurs. When the turbine is coming out of an ice event, and a typical operational protocol would be to send out a visual inspection. It's a pre-startup visual inspection. And that's to even reduce the risk even more of an ice throw and an ice risk. So there's other things that we do to help reduce the risk. We have signage, and we also, across the industry, will have public notifications of safety. So when an ice event is occurring, there could be radio announcements. That's what they do at Maple Ridge. There's signs, public announcements. All these procedures are done for health and safety. One important thing that I didn't mention in the onset of this was that the issue of ice throw is part of the Article 10 process. I like your smile. And so the details of which are going to be presented. And everything that you're saying here, people involved have input. So it's important to realize that Avangrid will, as part of the process, will have to delve into the issue and provide specifics. That's not the intent of this right here, but what we wanted to do is provide some information, and as much as we can. So what we have done is we provided an excerpt, and there's other information that can be provided. It shows what a panel of experts have come up with. It shows the calculation. The calculation is very detailed. People model, there's been modeling of what happens, the dynamics of ice flows, validation, there's an understanding of where the ice goes. But the idea is, as that projectile moves, how far it goes, the probability is decreased, decreased, decreased. And the idea that it's actually going to hit any particular location is very small, becomes very, very small. From the question about data sharing, Avangrid and all developers spend, there's a just huge investment that's put into the initial scoping of a project, putting up the Met Towers, assessing the site, and also just in a data analysis with a staff of experts, engineers, and meteorologists. So there is an investment. Now the process itself in Article 10, we will be required to share data within the process, but in that we have to protect our rights, and we will do the requisite procedure to go in and for the protection of the secrets. And so that is something that will occur.
What are the secrets?
It's confidential information.
No, I know what secrets mean.
Well,
I said,
it's,
which information can you share?
no, I'll give you the exact. Trade secret protection, okay? So there's a procedure that you have to go through to protect your data. And we will do that because we have to share in the process. So they'll be looking at our data, they'll be analyzing what we're saying. Now, if we were to share this publicly, it would be, you think of all the investment that we've put into it, or anybody, it's sort of like prospecting. So if you're prospecting, you're not interested in...
We've all caught a loss before.
What's that?
We've all caught a loss before, I'm sure.
So it wouldn't be fair for us to just share information that somebody else can come in and use for their benefit as well.
You want us to find out your dirty secret?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Then perhaps you could let us know why, perhaps you can let us know why Iberdrola has requested from the town board to expand the wind overlay district, the wind overlay zone. And if there are indeed is there indeed a new Met Tower up south of Route 72? Perhaps you could let us in on that trade secret.
Well, it's not a trade secret if you already know about it. So, and the reason would be is we are looking at, yes, south of 72, there's areas for additional turbines that we have been considering. And no, there is not a Met Tower that's installed south of 72. So that's all I have to say, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Has the wind advisory board been told that they were requesting?
Nothing to do with us. That's strictly a town. So that at every meeting, we don't have any say in it. It's a town.
You want to know about it though, right, before you make
No, I do not know about that. That's, we don't have to have it. It's a town board that does it, not us. We're
You don't want to know
We're not giving that information. That doesn't pertain to what
No,
we do.
she's saying, do you want to know?
Do I want the information from Jeff? Yes, I do want to know. But right now, I'm looking at the law to make sure it protects both sides of the fence.
Well, you
The
can't, you don't know
taxpayers
all the
here-
information.
Yes, I can, ma'am. And that's the end. All right? Will the board would suggest changes in the local law?
Is there going to be any public comment on this session?
No, we set up another meeting for public comment, so that we can get through the law, and we'll have public comments on March 6th.
That's a long-term way to correct some of the statistical tomfoolery that you just heard a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
I'll be glad to write an article and put it in the paper, receive a letter. But what you heard
that's your
about 1 in a
option.
million is very bad
That's
statistics.
your option.
Especially in our climate here in the North Country.
So it's playing with numbers, it's playing.
We're going to go with the local law. And you suggested James.